This is Steve from Beaute's Leatherworks. Today's project is this cool riding boot. But they've seen its better days. Now these were custom made, let's see, in New York about 15 years ago. The company's name is DER space DAU, Derdau, if I'm pronouncing that right. I'm probably butchering that name up. So it was made specifically for the customer. So what the customer request was JR soles, dovetail heels. He wants Lulu tips in the front, and try to work on the uppers. Now the uppers are they're very greasy. There's some sort of a finish on there that the customer applied over the years. I'm not sure what he used. So we're gonna restrip all that off. We're gonna try to work on these cracks here and try to add some color to it and condition it up for him. Now I quoted the customer $640 for this job, okay? Now where it gets interesting. I wasn't going to make a video of this, but once I started, I figured, you know what, it might not be a bad idea to show. So this is one of them apart, halfway done. As you guys can see, it turned out to be a little bit more than what I had envisioned. So with this particular one, we replaced that back piece right here, okay? Don't worry about the color. Color we'll try to match up. The heel lining, which is the inside piece of this outer piece here, which looks like, I didn't bring it with me. Anyway, I had to replace that. It was all torn up. There was no way I could have left it like that. It's just not, it wouldn't have felt good on the back of his heels. And unfortunately, you don't know this because you can't really go in there and see what's going on, okay? And then the heel kind of was in pretty good shape. We reused that. We put this piece back on there. The uppers, I sanded down a little bit, try to fill in the cracks. I'll show you guys what I did with the other one. Well, I'll show you what I'm going to do with the other one. And at this stage, basically, we're going to reattach. This was footbed. Now this was all cracked and dried here. Now I didn't want to replace this because this is formed to his feet. When you go and change everything on a job, which is sometimes required, the customer has to go through the break-in period, okay? I didn't want him to do that because these are basically made for his feet, okay? So I put a piece of leather on top of that to reinforce it so he doesn't feel the cracks on the ball of his feet. And otherwise, this back piece here is in pretty good shape. Just the front part where the feet, you know, perspire and with the salt in our sweat dries the leather and it starts cracking over time. So after all that's said and done, once everything gets put back in together, it'll be a solid boot once again. Hopefully it'll last it for another, who knows, 10, 20 years. All right, let's get started. So this was the heel lining on the other boot I was trying to find earlier. As you guys can see, it's got a big hole in it. Yes, I'm wearing gloves. These were sent in by a viewer who wished to remain anonymous. And I'm like, okay, I won't talk about you. No problem. Now this heel is basically a paper fiberboard, whatever you want to call it. It's not, I think being a custom-made boots, they would use leather baseboard, but they didn't. So we're going to replace that with leather. Make it nice and snug and tight. I mean, it's less than 15 years, right? It's not like, you know, it fell apart. So, I mean, there's an ongoing discussion about like fiberboard heel bases and fiberboard midsoles and stuff like that. Which one lasts longer? You know? Yeah, it's a little bit cheaper for the manufacturer to use, but what lasts longer? I mean, we don't know. I don't know myself. I know over time that fiberboard will fall apart over time of getting wet, you know. But I've never really done like a scientific study where you know you get to compare both and see which one lasts longer. You know what I mean? Yes, I use a chisel. Oh boy, I can hear it now. Hey man, that's not how you use a chisel. That's it, I'm leaving. I'm gonna unsubscribe because you used the chisel the wrong way. People are on the edge lately, man. You all need to simmer down. Let's laugh today. Let's laugh today, okay? Let's talk about maybe some jokes or something. I don't know. Maybe some dad jokes. All right, let me see if I can think of one. All right. Let me see if I can think of one. I can't think of one at the moment, but okay. How do you get a squirrel to like you? How do you get a squirrel to like you? Come on now, think about it. All right, you act like a nut. Come on, you laughed a little bit. I heard you. I'm going to get more a little later on, don't you worry. All right, so we're going to have to remove this footbed from the uppers because we want to get to the back of the heel there. And it's nailed down, as you can see, like it should be. This is just glued construction, by the way. But we're going to Blake stitch it once it gets done. And I'll show you guys that down the way. There's the footbed. Okay. And there's the back of the heel lining. You see that right there? Now the rest of it we're going to clean up, we're going to condition before we put everything back together because it's almost impossible to get to that area when everything is closed up. All right, let's continue. Oh, look, I got a little thingamajig so I can turn off the phone or the camera, whatever you want to call it, because my gloves can't touch the screen. So that's what I got. See ya. Oh, didn't work. Or maybe you'll like my dad joke. Come on, just a little bit. Oh, I'll get you better ones, don't worry. Alright. So we're just gonna remove, we're still in disassembly mode. We're gonna remove this back piece here. The other one was in worse shape than this one, but since I removed that one, I gotta make this one basically match that one. This isn't too bad shape, but the other one was worse shape, was cracked, and there was no bringing it back. Okay, I got one for you guys. You guys ready? What do you call someone with no body and no nose? What do you call somebody? I'm sorry, what do you call someone with no body and no nose? Nobody knows. Oh my God. I'm dying over here. Oh my God, that was funny. Come on, that was funny. Oh, you guys have no sense of humor whatsoever. All right, forget about it then. I'm not going to give you any more. All right, maybe a couple of more. All right, let's continue. Now we go through the cleaning process. We got acetone. Got a mask on. Gloves on. And we're just going to go kind of inch by inch, wiping this thing down and turning it over. Keep going until most of that stuff is off the leather. What we want to do. Where was I? So I was saying we have to prep the surface so the dye can take, okay? You can't apply dye to the leather with all that, whatever's on there. Some sort of mink oil or some sort of something that the customer applied on to preserve the leather, which is fine, and you should preserve it, but we just have to remove it to get to the pores of the leather so we can add color, condition it. Maybe when we get done with everything, reapply a little bit of some sort of a proof, waterproof or some sort of oils or something to protect that leather again, because he's going to go riding. Once we clean this and then this dries, I'm going to try to fill these cracks in a little bit with a product called Stop Crash. Whoop, that was me bumping the camera. Now, unfortunately, this isn't readily available to you guys, unfortunately. This is by LM Professional. It's an Italian product. These come in different colors. This is dark brown. Okay. Basically, I'm going to fill in the cracks, let it dry, come back and sand it. Now, is it 100% remedy for cracks? Not really, no, but you know what? It'll look much better than what it is now. So, I mean, it's in pretty rough shape now. Fiebings oil dye. This is walnut. So it's not dark brown or anything like that. So it'll leave a little bit different shades of brown. By the way, the original color was not really dark brown. It was like a mahogany. So y'all like my dad jokes? Should I continue? Come on, man. Look, if I put a smile on one person's face, then I've done my job for the day. All right, I'll see if I can find another person to smile too. Well, that's going to require another joke. I can't wait to read the comments after I upload this video. All right, let's see if I can think of another one. Did you hear the rumor about butter? Did you hear the rumor about butter? Okay. You didn't hear the rumor? Well, I'm not going to be the one to spread it. Oh my God. I'm getting a good exercise today. Laughing exercises. Come on, guys, laugh with me. Don't make life so hard, okay? It's already hard on its own. Don't make it harder. All right. Okay, good. I got 2 people to smile today. I'm happy today that I got to make somebody smile. All right, so we're going to let this dry thoroughly. And we're going to see if it needs another coat. And we're going to wait till the other boot dries. Sand the uppers. I'll show you guys how I'm going to do that. Very fine sandpaper. I do use my numkeg. That's what the machine's called. Numkeg sander. But the paper on there is very it's very old, and it doesn't really scratch the surface too much. You don't want new paper on there, or it's going to make a bigger mess. All right, so as you guys can see, we are done with dyeing this boot. I gotta be careful not to get anything on my skin, or else it's gonna stay there. This is a very tough dye. You can't really wash it off. Well, you can use a little bit of acetone to kind of wipe it off, but when it's on your skin, man, it stays there. It just wears away. That's why you guys see my hands like stained sometimes, that you think it's dirty, but it's really not. And I don't wear gloves at times, which I should, but you know, sometimes it just doesn't work out. Cool. All right, let's continue. All right, so we've got the heel lining in, okay? Basically, we followed, where's that back piece? We're gonna follow that shape right there. Cut that piece of leather a little bit bigger, okay? And once everything is stitched, we go inside and cut off the excess. But first, we've got to put the back piece on here. Stitch this on first, then we can stitch on the back piece. These stitches are in pretty good shape, holding the 2 shafts together. Oh, that wasn't hammer time. No, no, no. No, siree. Don't you get that confused. That was just a little tap, tap, tap. Don't worry. Hammer time will be coming up. We got plenty of hammer time. Plenty of hammer time. Just a little glue to keep it in place while stitching. That's all. Cool. All right, let's go stitch it. Let's continue. It's hard to stitch and hold the camera with one hand. Took the side plate off to show you guys what a feed dog is. Okay, it's this piece right here. See the jagged edges there? So when the leather comes in right here, okay, this goes down and up, moves it down and up, moves the material. So let's take a look. That goes down, up on the fabric, and moves it. Okay, that's what you call a feed dog. I'll get this bobbin stuck in here. Trying to do things with one hand. There we go. So that's how the machine operates. And basically this is the roller foot. That comes down. Okay. And it keeps the pressure on the material as the feed dog goes down, presses against the roller, and they both move. The other one has a mechanism that's attached to this that literally moves this at the same time slowly in sync with the feed dog. That way both of them move the material. It's a much better quality machine. But it is what it is. I'm happy with this. All right, let's continue. So there's the access. We'll just cut that on the stitch line. And I'll make a nice heel lining back there. All right, let's continue. Y'all know what time it is. Y'all know what time it is. Yes, sir. It's hammer time. All righty then. She's getting there. I put a little bit more that filler in. Let that sit a little bit longer. We'll sand that, buff it, sand it, clean it, dye it, condition it, reheal it, stitch it, and she'll be done. All right, let's continue. Oh, Lordy, Lordy, Lord. I forgot to say hammer time. Beautiful. Let's continue. All right, so we're going to basically cut the sole, open it up like a V, stitch it, and close it back. Okay? And the rest of it on the shank area, we're going to groove it. This isn't really a blind stitch, but it's hidden stitch. Blind stitch, you wouldn't be able to see the stitch. This way, a little line will be there. So, I think I'm running out of water. Oh no! Okay. Okay, let's take that a little bit deeper. Now, not too deep. Of course, you don't want to cut the sole all the way through the leather. No. How deep is it? I don't know. Just get a sense of depth. We do so many of them. Now the chisel again. Oh no, the chisel. I'm sure there's a lot of different ways of doing this. This is how I do it. Kind of looks cool too. Looks almost like a weld. Maybe get a close up of that, huh? There she goes. All right, let's continue. All right, so this is our Blake stitch machine, or lock stitches also it's called. This is a horn. This is a long one for the boots. They make two sizes. I'm going to slide this on top here like this. Turn it on. And try to keep the stitch into the channel. That's why we open a groove. If I can get this in here. There we go. Alright, there goes nothing. It's a lock stitch because you have two threads, top thread and a bottom thread. They come together and they lock and they pull each other, and it snugs the sole to the shoe. The other one is called an outsole stitcher. That's when we have a Goodyear welt. This one skipped a little bit, but we can push it back into the groove, no problem. All right, let's continue. Angle for me to be hammering because the camera and the lights in my face. Alright, I'll try not to bang it. These nails are basically securing the leather sole, the uppers that we folded over, to the footbed. So no chance of this coming apart. Not going anywhere. What it's doing, it's hitting the metal last, and it's cinching that sharp edge point right there, and it's cinching it back in, turning it back into the leather footbed. All right, let's continue. All right, we got our threaded nails. This is called a pneumatic nailer. When you press on the pedal, just like you guys saw, pushes little metal pieces up, and the nails go into the heel of the boot. All right, let's do this. A little pain in the butt to get it on there, but once it's on there, it's okay. Alright, turn the wheel, and it kind of lowers that arm, tightens it up, step on the pedal. She's done. Now it's hard to see inside for you guys, but they're all in there. Take my word for it. Can't see. All right, let's continue. All right, welcome back. We are done with another project. Now they're a little darker than what we started with, but if you paid attention, when I removed these, the original color was a lot darker than what this is now. So we kind of did it in between the original and what it was when it came in with. Now I don't have anything on the surface other than Bick 4, which I conditioned it about 3 times, okay? Now I'm not sure if the customer wants to apply whatever he was applying before. He can if he wants. Is it necessary? I mean, it's nice and conditioned up. It's pretty much oiled up. I don't think it's necessary, but let the customer do whatever he wishes. Okay, so I appreciate you guys joining me. If you guys have any questions, please email me, betos@yahoo.com. And yes, we do take mail-in orders. This was mailed in. And if you guys have any questions, again, try not to ask it on the comment section because sometimes I may not see it. Email me, and I'll do my best to respond in a timely manner. So this was $640. If I were to do these again, it would be about $900 because there was a lot more work involved than originally planned. So in case somebody has an idea of sending something in similar to this, it's not going to be around $600. It's probably going to be more if it's this type of work. Okay, all right, so share, comment, give me a thumbs up, do what you have to do, and we'll see you guys on the next project. Take care.